A-Man, say man, this is the A-Man Show back at it again for another banger. We are less than 2 months away from kickoff. Teams are now going into training camp, and it's the perfect time to talk about the projections of each team going into the season. And one particular team I want to delve into is the New York Jets, specifically Aaron Rodgers. As you can tell from the title of this video, the New York Jets have been one of the teams that have the most pressure going into the season. Head coach Robert Saleh is in the hot seat right now as they never made a playoff appearance during his coaching tenure, despite having the best defense in the NFL for quite some time now. But the player that has the most pressure to win has to be Aaron Rodgers. The Jets front office has made considerable moves throughout the offseason to surround an aging A-Rod. And because of this is Aaron Rodgers' last chance to win it all. And in this video, I'm finna explain why. But first, make sure y'all subscribe. I post NBA and NFL content. Turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss anything new from me. Anyways, stay tuned and enjoy the vid. Last year, the Packers have officially cut ties with Aaron Rodgers, trading him to the New York Jets, similar to what happened to Brett Favre in exchange for a first-round pick of last year's draft, which was Lucas Van Ness, a second-rounder and a sixth-round pick. After Davante Adams left Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers was simply not the same guy that he was in previous years. In fact, in the 22 season, Aaron Rodgers put up arguably his worst season of his career, totaling more interceptions than he had in his entire career, as well as the lowest QBR of his career. Aaron Rodgers was so mediocre that I don't even think that he was better than the likes of Kirk Cousins and even Jared Goff that year. Hell, Jared Goff outplayed the living shit out of Aaron Rodgers in the last game of that year to solidify Jared Goff being better than Aaron Rodgers that year. And then he will go to New York, where he has the best defense of his career, and on the offensive side of the ball, he has the former Offensive Rookie of the Year and Garrett Wilson as his receiver. They also get his trusted wideouts and Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb. They also got Breece Hall despite having a mid-O-line. And also, they got his old OC and Nathaniel Hackett. We all know what happened on that fateful 9/11 day where Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles against the Bills. Although the Jets will win the game, but the worst part is that Aaron Rodgers will miss the entire season that year. The Jets without him go 7-10. Although they have a top 5 defense in the NFL, their offense was the polar opposite because Zach Wilson continues to throw away games due to his heinous performances, and the offense just couldn't pull it together throughout that season. So during the offseason, the Jets have made much needed additions to the team, such as signing Tyron Smith. Even though he has sustained injuries over the years, but when healthy, he is still a very good tackle in the NFL. They also brought in Mike Williams, who had previous seasons of being an 1,000-yard receiver, but like Smith, he has sustained injuries during the past, and in fact, he dealt with injuries all year last year, but when healthy, is a legit second option receiver. And on the defensive side of the ball, you add in Hassan Reddick, who had put up multiple double-digit sack seasons with Philly to an already stacked defense. And also later down the road, Davante Adams is going to request a trade out of Las Vegas because sure, Las Vegas are a much better team compared to previous seasons, but they don't have the talent to compete compared to the Jets. And there will be a scenario where Davante Adams will get traded to the Jets to play alongside Aaron Rodgers. But either way, when coming back from injury, and with the same team plus the additions on the roster, this may be Aaron Rodgers' last chance at winning a Super Bowl. He is in arguably the most talented roster in his career, with arguably the best defense on paper, and offensively, you get a wideout in Garrett Wilson, who is going to break out as a top 10 player at his position, potentially having a 1,500 total yard, 100 reception, 10 TD type season, a legit second option in Mike Williams, an elite running game in Breece Hall, and a pretty solid O-line. You also have Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator, the same coach that Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs a couple seasons back. You couldn't ask for more if you are Aaron Rodgers, as far as the pieces to compete. But at the end of the day, it is up to Aaron Rodgers to seal the deal at the end, because ever since this guy won a Super Bowl back in 2010, he has yet to make another Super Bowl appearance. And yes, Aaron Rodgers deserves some level of slack here. He never had a good defense throughout the early 2010s. He had a bonehead head coach in Mike McCarthy, and he had to carry a squad on his back during those years. Hell, made a couple of conference championship appearances during that. But even then, in 2014, the guy choked a 16-point lead going to halftime in the NFC Championship game. And even though the defense has let up against the Seahawks offense, but Aaron Rodgers threw a costly interception and really couldn't do anything significant for the majority of the second half, thus losing in overtime. And then fast forward to 2019, where Aaron Rodgers now have an actual defense, a defense that is ranked among the top 12 in the league. And yes, you have Davante Adams, you have an Aaron Jones, you have a very good O-line, and you get beat by the 49ers just by running the football for most of the time in the NFC Championship game. And then Aaron Rodgers will have back-to-back 14-win seasons while winning back-to-back MVPs. And guess what? The man couldn't get it done somehow against Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game in 2020, and in 21 in the divisional round against the 49ers, Aaron Rodgers loses to Jimmy Garoppolo. And we all saw how shitty he was in that playoff run. But Aaron Rodgers in that game was piss poor. I mean, he looked nothing like his MVP self in that game. And granted, the defense played very well that game compared to the previous season. That game right there, I put 100% of the blame on Aaron Rodgers, and I explained all that in my Why Aaron Rodgers is Very Disappointing video a couple years back. I'm not mentioning the season after. Aaron Rodgers had the worst season of his career, even though he didn't have Davante Adams because he went on to play for the Raiders, but still Aaron Rodgers in 22 was so mediocre that I don't even think that he was better than Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff that year. Now, getting traded to the Jets, like I said, he tore his Achilles during the Bills game and was out for the whole season. And then we get to today. Every time I hear from the media about how Lamar Jackson has all the MVPs and the talent around him to win a Super Bowl, but he couldn't get it done in the postseason. But why isn't Aaron Rodgers discussed in the same way, if not more? Even though he won a Super Bowl, but like I said, he never made another Super Bowl appearance since then. He never beat the 49ers in the postseason, actually is 0-4 against them, and who their quarterbacks were? Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo. One is not even on an NFL roster anymore, and two is a backup QB. Now, going to Aaron Rodgers' age 40 season, the Jets are really acquiring as much talent as possible because after this season, this may be Aaron Rodgers' last season of his career. Like I said, Davante Adams' trade talk is going to continue to spike going to the season. And even if the Jets get Davante Adams, it's still on Aaron Rodgers to perform and show up when need be in the postseason. You already have an offense, and of course you have a defense. And sure, he's playing in a tough AFC. You have the 12th hardest schedule in the league, but there is literally no excuses for Aaron Rodgers to not perform with this roster. On the other hand, this is an opportunity that Aaron Rodgers can rewrite his legacy and put himself among the top 5 QBs of all-time conversation. If he goes through the entire AFC and beats the defending back-to-back Super Bowl champs and the Chiefs in the conference championship and reach the Super Bowl and win it all, then this will not only be a boost to his career, but a perfect segue to his 19-year career. However, if Aaron Rodgers does not even sniff a Super Bowl appearance, then it will solidify his legacy as a guy that won a Super Bowl and an all-time great regular season QB, but never really won anything after 2010. Don't get me wrong, he'll still be a top 10 QB of all time, but that's at best. So this coming regular season is, of course, a make or break year for the Jets, especially for Robert Saleh. The Jets must make the postseason for the first time in over a decade, but it's also Aaron Rodgers' last chance at a ring, because after this season, it's likely that Aaron Rodgers could retire with just 1 or 2 rings. So thank y'all for watching this video. Let me know on the Jets regarding Aaron Rodgers. Can this second ring boost A-Rod's legacy? Let me know and smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to this channel for more NBA and NFL content. Turn on post notifications, and that is all. Stay litty. This is the A-Man Show. Sign out.